Hey everyone, my name is Jesse Mullin. I'm a lawyer at Mullin in Victoria, British Columbia. I practice primarily residential real estate law. So today I'm going to talk to you about three things. Firstly, I'll give you a general sense of what a lawyer's role is in a residential real estate transaction. Secondly, I'll talk to you about the main aspects of the lawyer's role in the sale of property, and then the main aspects of the lawyer's role in the purchase of property. So generally in a real estate transaction, clients will contact the lawyer at a time when a contract is final. Whether they're buying or selling, they will have worked with a realtor and they'll have a final contract. So the main aspects of a lawyer's role in a general sense is to ensure that all of the documentation is drafted and executed correctly so as to ensure that the transaction completes, money is transferred, and title is transferred at the land titles office. So when we're working with sellers, the primary elements that we have to ensure occur are the transfer of land that they're selling and the discharge of any mortgage on title if there is a mortgage. And so typically what we'll have is we'll have a contract come to us from a client's realtor or from the client directly. We'll review the contract and then draft the necessary documentation for us to have the client sign. In addition to that, in a real estate transaction, the buyer's lawyer will draft transfer documentation for the land titles office. So once we've accumulated all of the documentation at our office, we'll have the seller come down and they'll sign off on all of the documentation prior to completion date. Now on completion date, when we're acting for a seller, the big thing that we need to ensure happens is that we receive money from the buyer's lawyer. That money goes into our trust account, and then we need to pay out everything necessary according to the contract. And that usually includes the payout of a mortgage and any other financial encumbrances prior to sending money to our client. So as mentioned before, when we're working with a buyer of residential real estate, we typically start working with them when they've got a final contract for purchase. So they've worked with their realtor and the deal is final, and then we get the contract. And so our job is to make sure that all of the documentation is drafted in accordance with the contract to ensure that they get title to the property and also that they're able to have their mortgage funded and registered on title to the property if they have a mortgage. And so a lot of the elements that we deal with are on the back end of things prior to meeting with the client. And so our staff will be involved with doing searches at the tax office for whatever municipality the property is in, also doing condo searches and strata searches for fees, etc., to ensure that all of the elements of the contract and the financial elements are dealt with accordingly.